Hey guys, I know my last video was pretty long, so I thought I'd go ahead and make a shorter one that focuses just on what is the most popular comp that I think we face, and I would guess that most people face. But before we do, I just wanted to mention one change that I made to the talents that I do here. I actually opted to get out of the 20% cat mangle to go for improved leader of the pack. I think this helps with sustain. I think it helps immensely versus double DPS comps. It does gimp a little bit of your burst damage, but honestly most of the time your burst damage is going to be coming from shreds, and mangle is just there to help your bleeds and help your shreds. I feel like it helped immensely, but I just wanted to note that real quick. Alright, so for this video, I'm just going to focus on this one game. We were right around 2K rating for this game, but I think it's got a lot of good examples of things that we try to focus on, and also some good examples of things that I mess up on. First thing I do here is we try to pull the warrior behind the pillar. This just makes it so that the druid has to come in a little closer. The druid will almost always pop out and start casting a clone or a hibernate on me. That's very common. I charge it, and usually I swap. This time I went back on the warrior to put a rip up on him. That's something I do a lot in this game. I don't think it's good. Honestly, you see how much rage the warrior has. That's because I'm just pumping damage into him. In the end, your rip will do at 5 combo points, depending on your attack power, maybe like 2,400 damage. That is only going to cost maybe 2 to 3 life blooms, which is like, 500, 600 mana. And the way we win this game is we drain the druid's mana, right? That's I talked about it in my other video, but I'll just go over a little bit. So what we like to do is I train onto the druid, and my priest gets trained by the warrior, and we basically try to make the druid first. Now, obviously, because you don't have Mortal Strike, this is much more difficult for you, because the amount of mana that the druid has to spend to heal should be a lot less. So the way that you win this, right, is by stopping the warrior from doing damage, and by getting the druid to shift a lot. The druid actually spends most of their mana not really healing, but getting in and out of bear form. Because if they are in caster form, they will take a lot more damage, but most of the time a good rested druid will shift into bear form any time physical DPS is on them. The way you stop that is by hibernating. And the other way that you win the mana battle is by CCing the warrior. So you'll see right here, I start to cast a hibernate, and the druid has to pop out. Now, not only did that cost mana because he went into bear form, but it's also going to cost more mana in the amount of healing he has to do, because now I'm going to do big chunks of damage to him, right? Adding in the hibernate play has helped us tremendously against druid warrior. It is probably the biggest difference maker that we've been making. Adding in hibernate makes it so the warrior has to peel more, and then it makes it so that your priest can drink more. Drinking is another thing. If the warrior peels, sometimes your priest might be in a position to apply mana burn pressure, sometimes might feel the fear, but a lot of times they should just do what my priest is doing here and drink. So here I'm staying in bear form, I go and I'm chasing down the druid again, and I pop out and I start to cast a hibernate. This warrior wants to get me off the druid because he's already my priest is already almost at full mana, so there's no real point in stopping him drinking now. He's a little late. I get off the hibernate, and then I just go bear form while I wait for my priest to come out. Rest of the game, I'm again training the druid. He goes, watch that again. So he's I think he's using Frenzied Regen right now. He travel forms to get away. I go cat form, and he says, all right, I'll go bear form, and then I start to hibernate. He's got to pop out. So it's a cone. I interrupt it. I cone him, and then I'm going to go again. Stop the damage from the warrior. I might even put up a rip here. I put up a lot of rips in this game, and I did okay. I put up the maim, which is very good. You want to use maim to get their Berserker Rage. You get their Berserker Rage, and you'll see here probably in 2 seconds, my priest should probably fear. See, my priest fear, boom, full fear on a warrior. As long as their Death Wish is down, their Trinket is down, you get that Berserker Rage, you're good to go. Their Druid tries to get a drink, again, try to hibernate, he interrupts it, I'm okay with that, and then the warrior just peels onto me, and we do a lot of sitting in bear form here. Finally, my priest push onto the Druid so that he stops drinking, and I'm going to try to train him. One more thing here, if you see, I pop this bark skin. Whenever bark skin is up and the warrior is peeling you, you don't really need bark skin that much in these games. I would highly recommend using bark skin offensively. Use it so that you can go into cat form. Unfortunately, you see right here, not only does he obviously get hamstrings, but he gets the stun, then the improved hamstring, and then again into the improved hamstring. So I really couldn't make the distance I wanted to when I was using the bark skin, but so I ended up just swapping to the warrior here. We get his Berserker Rage, and I'm trying to tell my priest to fear here, but my priest wants to get the mana burns. We'll tell him to fear after the Berserker Rage is down. He gets cloned, and then the Druid gets his full Innervate here. It's not the end of the world, but it wasn't ideal. We end up getting the fear on the warrior, and he popped Berserker Rage to get out of it. Druid comes out of the Innervate with basically full mana, and I'm trying to again get back to harassing him. A bit annoying with the warrior on me. I think he resisted my Nature's Grasp. It's going to happen, but usually you sit around until you can charge away, get a Nature's Grasp, or like I said, you can use Bark Skin to just go head to head with them or to stay on the Druid. Right here, we try to get a fear on the Druid. He resists, of course. Warrior's trying to decide if he wants to stick on me or stick on the priest. He decides to go back onto me, and again, I have bark skin again here, so I decide to put up the bark skin, and then I go back into cat. And I'm going to go head to head with him now with bark skin and a couple heals, and I'll actually win this fight. And then so he decides to intercept there, and right there, I should just leave. I only had 2 combo points on him. You see right here, I have 2 combo points on him. The Druid is going around this pillar. You don't really want to sit on the warrior. It's all about the mana, and the best way to keep your priest's mana is by CCing the warrior. When you pump into the warrior, it gives him rage, and your priest will end up using more mana. Not only that, but the Druid can easily out-heal your damage. They can go from 40 yards, right? He just threw up 3 life bombs, and it doesn't even matter what I'm really doing. He's still barely, look at that. He's back at, once they already have the triple life blooms, they put it up like that. It's so easy to heal through the Feral Druid. So again, you really want to be CCing the warrior and training onto the Druid to get him. I end up going for the rip because I just don't listen to my own advice sometimes and get a little zug. But this is a very important combo right here for how we get ahead. So I'll go back here. So what I could have done is just maim first. I wanted to get a little damage, so I did the rip. But ended up getting 3 combo points here, and I hit him with the maim. He pops his Berserker Rage, I cast Clone. When you hit him with the maim, most of the time they're going to Berserker Rage it. If you clone, when they start the Berserker Rage, they'll only be about 2 seconds after the clone. where they still can't be feared, and then your priest can fear. Now, I know he has a trinket, so I start instantly casting the second cone. This is probably the, like, another huge thing that will save you, especially if you're around 1600, 1800. The warrior is going to be on your priest. And if they're, especially if they're in a death wish, they're going to trinket the cone. And if they don't trinket the cone, you wasting 1.5 seconds casting another cone is not a big deal. The whole reason you're casting the cone is to stop their damage. So just start casting the second cone instantly. You win no matter what. So he trinkets, and I get the second one. And then the next thing is whenever they're coming out of the cone, especially if the druid can't charge you, which he can't because my priest is putting on, he could burn him, even though he's healing right here, he could burn him. And the druid doesn't like to be in the line of sight of the priest. So I start to hit him with the entangling roots, and again, he's a gnome. So what do? I'm already a second into casting the next entangling roots. He uses his gnome thing. I hit him with the next roots, and we just got his Berserker Rage, his Trinket, and his Racial, and now he gets put into a full fear. And that's probably one of the biggest combos that we get, in this game that probably helped us the most out of anything. Just double cast your CCs and use Berserker Rage to pop use Maim to pop their Berserker Rage. So now I'm back on the Druid. I just innervated my priest here. He's bashing me, trying to hibernate. You kind of have to pop out for the hibernates, even though your priest can dispel if they're hamstringed on the other side. Use your mana wisely. It's why I opt in the other video, for the 2 rings, you just have a lot of spirit for mana regen. Right here, he's in bear form, so I used to always go for a rip or a maim in these situations, right? I pop into the cat form, I hit him with the mangle, it crits. I used to always maim right there, but now with my new strat's kind of to just start casting hibernate, so they have to pop out. And then if they pop out in the caster form, you maim them in caster form. And then your priests can either fear them in caster form, burn them in caster form, whatever. It's just, or you can just do damage them in caster form, right? It's a win-win for you right there. I hit him with the maim, and he trinkets it. And this is where he outplayed me a little bit there, because I didn't think he was going to trinket, and my priest is actually decently low here, so I'm starting to go peel, but he trinketed it, and he instantly started coning me. If I knew he was, if I had thought about that play, I would just feral charge him right here since it's up, but I got a little outplayed. And it gets a little dicey off of this play because the druid gets to travel form around and go drink. I have to spend my time peeling a little bit here, so I get the entangling roots, pop a little cheeky life bloom on my priest. He gets a tick, I think. It's not the end of the world. I put a hibernate on him. Unfortunately, my priest did Shadow Word Pain him to try to keep him, try to get him in combat. We just added in the hibernate plays, so it's a bit new for us, so that broke it. And as soon as I saw it broke, I should have, again, me being on the warrior right here, not good. It's feeding him rage, and it's very easy for the druid to heal through it when he wants. So they can also kite you. People think druids are like very good at kiting, but the only thing a resto druid can't really kite is a feral druid, because with the 4 set, you move faster than their travel form in cat form. So you always want to be on the resto as much as possible, and you want to be CCing the warrior. He feral charges out, he gets a heal. I, again, loving the new hibernate plays, but unfortunately for me, didn't think about my pounce bleed because I got a and so my pounce bleed kind of screwed me there. This isn't the worst time for a swap because he is in the death wish, which means he does take a little bit more damage, but again, I should just shapeshift that piercing howl and I should get on the druid. You see how low he is, you see how low his mana is. He's in caster form. I didn't line of sight that clone as well as I could have. And then I swap to the warrior here, and the warrior has 2 blooms on him. He has full rage. This is like not the time to pressure him more, like, because the 2 blooms are going to tick, or even if they don't tick, if he puts it at the 3rd bloom, the amount that boom is healing per second is so high that you're just not going to really win that battle. So I put up a rip, and I should have put up a maim so that I could get the Berserker Rage here. And then I should have also probably charged him there because, again, my priest is getting now trucked. You see, like, we just kind of lost all of the ground we made by me dumping Rage into the warrior and the druid just basically free healing through it. My priest almost dies here, but he does the YOLO ring around the rosy here. I go and I hit the warrior with a maim. It gives my priest a little bit time to heal himself up, and then I get back on the druid, and my priest starts drinking, the warrior peels, and that's basically how we win the game. We'll play it out for a little bit longer. The druid keeps running around. I do end up swapping to the warrior here for the kill. I still think even though we win, it's the wrong play. You see how he kites me, how much wasted time there is right here. He's just stalling out for their druid is around the pillar drinking, hoping that he can put up like a rejuve and a swiftman or something. But luckily he just didn't have the throughput, and we win.